Good morning and welcome to the Ugly Truth. Uh, this morning, I'd like to talk about some of the heroes of spring training, what we're seeing, and what we're or who we're anticipating might actually be able to make this roster coming out of spring training. It's going to be once again another open panel. So I've dropped the link down in the corner, and anyone who wants to come up, feel free to come up. Most welcome. Uh, I want to start out by talking about Cody Bellinger. There was a lot of skepticism when when we traded for him, whether he'd be able to perform as as an effective player, being that his power numbers had been down last year. Uh, all right, I have somebody that is going to come up. I'm going to bring Jonathan up.
Hi,
Good morning, Jonathan. How are you?
I'm good, good. Like last time, I only have like 10 minutes, so I can chat with
Okay.
you.
I am not hearing you.
You're not hearing me? I let me see. What? I'm not muted. Stay in studio. Can you hear me now?
No.
Hmm.
I think it might be a problem on my half.
On your half. Hmm.
All right, can you try it again, Jonathan?
Check. You can hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah,
Okay.
it was my script. Sorry.
Yeah. So the one person that in the game that I saw live, that maybe the people that I saw, I was impressed with Peraza and Everson Pereira in the games I saw live.
Yeah,
So those are the two guys who they're basically. I think these are both. This year is both of their last year to really show what they can do. Because if they have any long term in the Yankees plan, they will have to hit in the major leagues, and I think that both of them have shown, at least to begin this spring training, that they have an opportunity to stay around longer.
okay.
Of course, what they will do is up to the Yankees.
Right now, it still looks like the Yankees are seeking a right-handed bat to
Yes.
play third base, and apparently they don't have faith in Peraza or Cabrera to take the helm and be the
I
everyday
I
starter.
I always thought that the option may have been Arenado, but I understand the Yankees don't want to take Arenado's contract. But if it was me, I would say I will trade you. Uh, I might even trade them Stroman for Arenado plus something straight up, but I don't know because they want to get rid of Stroman. Cardinals want a pitcher. The Yankees need a third baseman.
The uh, the Yankees have uh, had an issue with money. Right now, we're sitting at 303 million for the
Yeah,
payroll,
they have a very high payroll.
and without a doubt, we are going to try to add. players at the trade deadline, which will obviously increase the amount of salary that we're going to have for the season. So adding a contract where we have to take Arenado's $21 million is going to cripple any efforts that we may
Did you
need to
see?
patch up.
Did you see the reports of DJ LeMahieu this morning?
No, I did not.
Well, DJ LeMahieu this morning it said he got an MRI that showed a grade 1 or 2 calf strain. Going to be at least a couple of weeks.
So do you
So
think that?
he's not an option for
Yeah,
at least until May.
I think that he is going to start the season out uh,
Injured.
on the IL. I
Yes.
certainly don't think that he'll be available. Not that I think that DJ is an everyday player anymore.
No.
His injury history over the last 2 seasons has shown that his body can't stand up to the work that he has to do as an everyday player anymore.
No, but if he was healthy, he could be a platoon player with Peraza and Pereira.
If the Yankees go out into the trade market to pick up a bat for third base, who do you think they might be looking at? Other than Arenado?
They're probably going to sign. They probably want someone for the short term. So I don't know who's available. I mean, honestly, if it was me, I would have preferred. I would have gotten Urshela. I thought Urshela was a nice short term. You could have gotten him on a 1-year deal, and the Yankees know him. So I think they missed out on Urshela went as a solid third base option. But as a trade, I mean, they may have to go with someone who is nobody is thinking about, or someone who has dropped off. Is a defensive first third baseman that won't give you very much in the batting order.
If they're looking for a defensive third baseman, I don't believe that they're going to find anybody who's better out there than Peraza, our in-house solution.
Well, I think the best way for the Yankees to go is in-house, and it always has been ever since they didn't get a third baseman in the offseason. From the start of spring training, the solutions were in-house.
Before we go any further, I want to give a shout out to the folks who are here for today's live stream, and it's Stephen B, of course, you, Jonathan. I've seen Sean Browning jump in, and Graham, John the Beagle Dad. So thank you for supporting. And if I've dropped the link to come up, so any of y'all that want to come up, hit the link, and we will bring you up.
Yeah, I have only a few minutes left to join you, but anyway, what do you think of the starting rotation so far?
Well, let's see. We play the Twins today, and we're going to see Garrett Cole for his second appearance of the season. His first one to me was impressive. I liked what he was doing, and I think that Garrett is back. He's got a history of being a durable pitcher, and last year was a shock to us as the Yankees fandom out there. But we managed to survive even with him being on the shelf for 3 months.
This year we're going to have a heel on the shelf for a few months.
And Max Fried's first appearance was what, 2 nights ago, and he pitched against the Pirates, a team that had seen him extensively through his time with Atlanta. And he came out with his entire repertoire. His arsenal was very good. He gave up some hits in his third inning, and possibly due to fatigue and whatnot. But he looked very good for his first outing. Uh, we have yet to see Clark Schmidt.
Yeah,
Not
Schmidt.
sure when he is actually scheduled. So
I think Schmidt is going to start he may start the year on the IL.
I know that he was having some back issues once again, and I've had questions about his durability. Last year, he only pitched half the season. I mean, granted, the season that he pitched was very good, but
And
Lord,
he was probably rushed back a little bit too quick for the World Series, and that's why he struggled a lot. And he didn't have last year wasn't the best year for. I mean, I don't remember what game did he pitch in the World Series. Did he pitch the third or fourth game?
third game, I believe.
Third game. So maybe he may have done better with an extra day's rest and start him in the fourth game because he was really pushed back to come back for the World Series, and he got. I don't exactly remember what he did, but I know he didn't last 3 innings because that was a really, with the exception of the bullpen game that the Dodgers did, that was a really embarrassing World Series for the Yankees, especially on the defensive end.
Then we're looking at Luis Hill starting the year out on the shelf. So not going to see him for several months.
Yeah.
We've got Will Warren, who I think will be part of this opening day starting rotation.
He has to be part of the opening day. The Yankees really have no choice but putting him in the opening day roster.
He has looked very impressive this spring.
Yeah.
He gave up his first run the other day. He's got an ERA of like 1.17. He looks to have control of all the pitches that he's got out there. And unlike last year, a lot of his starts came at the last second. He was told that he was going to be a starter and didn't have I don't think, the adequate prep time. Sometimes he did well. Sometimes he got hammered.
Well, I think with spring training, and I'm very hopeful on Will Warren this year. I like what I've seen, and as I said, with the full spring training and preparations, hopefully no injuries, I think he can be a very solid pitcher. But,
last season, when Cole was injured, Hill was not even on the precipice of being in the rotation. He was given his opportunity. He shined, and his first half was spectacular.
yes.
And this may be the same opportunity for Will Warren with Hill being on the IL.
I've always been in the last, at least in the last couple of years, I've always been under the mindset of let the kids play. You have a farm system. Brian Cashman was reluctant for years to trade some of these players. You have to see what you have in your system before making trades. So if there's another injury and if there are other players around, I wouldn't be so quick to make trades unless I know exactly what I'm trading. But on that side, I have to get going. And thank you for having me again. I will try to join whenever I have time.
All right. I appreciate your time and appreciate you being here, Jonathan. Thank you. Okay. Like I said before, I've dropped the links. Anyone who wants to come up, feel free. Uh, you are definitely welcome, and I'd like to hear what you have to think about spring training. I'll drop the link again. And I see that Brad has jumped in and uh, want to welcome you. Thank you for supporting the channel. Uh, back to the rotation. Marcus Stroman. His first appearance was atrocious. One of the worst performances of spring training thus far. Uh, didn't really, to me, look like he was interested in being on the bump. And uh, when he pitched against Atlanta, his average velo was right about 88 miles an hour, between 88 and 86. Uh, all his stuff was up, and it looked like a batting practice session for the Braves because they took him deep twice in the first inning, and he was very less than impressive. Uh, for me this year, I was one of the people that was very skeptical about. Welcome, Chris. I was very skeptical about the Cody Bellinger trade. Over the last few years, his power numbers have gone down. His hard hit rate has gone down, and I know that the Yankees love left-handed hitters in the Bronx, but I just wasn't sure that he was going to be the fit uh, for this year, especially with the loss of Soto. Uh, Bellinger has always had a great glove, and I haven't really watched a lot of him. My son and I did a lot of the. He's a huge Diamondbacks fan, so I would catch the Dodgers uh, when they would line up with the D-backs. But other than that, I just didn't see a lot, and Bellinger didn't really have great numbers against Arizona, so I wasn't sure that his bat was going to hold up. But during the spring, uh, 16 at bats, he's got 7 hits. He's hitting 423. Uh, Bellinger's gotten a homer. He's gotten a double. Uh, and his strikeouts, he's only in his 16 at bats, he's only struck out twice, which, in my opinion, has been an Achilles heel for the Yankees for years. Is a lot of power hitters. Uh, Either you go for the gusto and you get the long ball, or uh, you get the big strikeouts. And Bellinger has great numbers. The other problem the Yankees have had is our ability to hit against left-handed pitchers, and Bellinger is a plus hitter against left-handed pitchers. So I was wrong. It looks that he may actually be the guy that is a right fit for the team. Where he's going to bat, my preference would be in the 2 hole ahead of Aaron Judge. But where I think he's going to end up is probably in the 3 hole. Uh, Comment from Grimmy. I do pay a lot of attention to the farm. It's not bad by any means. It takes time to bring it back after graduating so many as we did, and that is definitely the case because uh, the additions of Jason Dominguez to the major league roster, uh, Austin Wells last year, uh, Ben Rice. So we've taken and pitching Luis Hill. We've we've taken a lot of quality players and put them into our major league roster. Uh, the and it's going to take time for the folks that we drafted last year and before, a lot of them pitchers, to work their way through the farm system and to see where we're at. The one kid who's up playing with us right now, uh, Spencer Jones, has has looked a lot better than he did last spring training, in my opinion. Uh, he still seems like he has a hitch in his swing, and he does have a fair amount of strikeout numbers, and that's why I think uh, that is something that they are definitely going to work on down in Double A, because that's where I think he's going to start the season at is Double A. Uh, Transitioning him to Triple A is a possible September call up. Uh, but the body of work that he's done, he's shown flashes of speed. Uh, his also definitely got the power swing. Uh, Shout out to Dev, welcome. Uh, the talk of the town, and a lot of fans seem to want George Lombard Jr. to come up, break camp with the team, and be our opening day third baseman. It's a nice thought, but he's got 2 weeks worth of work under him. He has looked very impressive, better than he did last spring. Definitely seems more confident, but it's 2 weeks worth of play. And my personal opinion is I don't feel that he's ready for the big stage. I'm thinking that we're not going to see him for probably at least 2 years. 2027 may be his time. Uh, but thus far, let's see. Lombard Jr. has played in 8 games. He's 15 at bats, 4 hits, averages at 333. He's had 2 home runs, and he's scored 4. And his strikeout count, he's gotten 3. He's been struck out 3 times. So less than a 30% strikeout range. Not bad. Not bad for a guy that was playing high A ball. Where does Lombard Jr. start the season at? I think he is probably going to start at high A and be promoted fairly rapidly. Oswald Peraza, he is, in my opinion, shown the glove that we need to see for the starting slot. He has been fantastic in the field. His bat has never been great, but he's making contact, uh, and I think that he is he is showing what he needs to show to be a member of the team. As y'all know, Peraza has no options left, so if he doesn't break camp with the major league club, he's basically DFA'd. We lose him. Are the Yankees showcasing him with all the games to show that he's a viable player? Maybe. If you look at the other option, Oswaldo Cabrera being our full time third baseman, he shows flashes. He hits the ball hard always. I mean, he gives maximum effort. He's a great player. Uh, my personal opinion, once again, is I think that uh, Cabrera's uh, high point for us is his versatility. He is capable of playing all infield positions, and he has played outfield also. So that's a pretty good type of player to have. And it seems a lot of the major league franchises are uh, are gearing themselves up for utility type players. Uh, this this spring, uh, one of the non-roster invitees that I've liked is Squid, Andrew Velasquez. He did time with us and was a very good player uh, 3 years ago when we had injuries. Uh, the kid plays with a lot of heart. Uh, he's got incredible speed, which is something that I like in ball players, and he is a contact bat. Do I think he has a chance of making the squad? I'm not. I don't think so. Not with who we have and our positional needs. I mean, personally, I was aggravated when the Yankees didn't bring John Birdie back. I thought that he was a perfect fit for the team. Uh, his his contact, his speed. He's a plus defender, and he was on a cheap deal, and we chose not to bring him back. Why? I have no idea. Certainly couldn't be to save money because I think he was under 3 million for a contract, and then we signed Trent Grisham to a $5 million contract. Grant Grisham is a fantastic defensive outfielder, but his offense and speed are not really great. All right. I am dropping the link once again. Anyone, please feel free to come up. All right. So, who do you all think has been the most impressive player in spring training? All right. And what do you think are who do you think are underdogs that may break camp with us? Somebody that we're not expecting. Uh, all right, Stephen. The the underdog that I think is going to make the team, possibly because of injury and whatnot, is Dominic Smith. He is aggressively attack the ball. He is a solid hitter. He has power, uh, and with the injury to Stanton, I think that he could plug very easily into Stanton's slot and could hold the fort until Giancarlo comes back. Still not sure what his injury status is. I know that he received 2 PRP shots in his elbow, and generically the recovery time is uh, 4 to 6 weeks. Stanton's older, so it's probably going to be a little bit longer. Basically, for folks that are ramping up for the major league season, they take 30 to 40 game time at bats to get them up to speed, and that would mean that Stanton would be available towards latter part of May. Uh, all right, Brad, Bellinger, Lombard, and pitching Warren. I definitely think that Brad. Definitely think that Will Warren is going to break camp with us, uh, with Hill on the shelf, Stroman not looking so impressive. Uh, our other option is Cookie Carrasco. He looked fine his first outing. He's an older player, and how durable he is, I'm not. I'm not sure. All right. Answer a question from Brad or from Grammy. Uh, apart from Smith, Escara, who else is there really? Actually, Alex Jackson is a very very good defensive catcher, uh, and he has shown that he's got a little bit of pop in his bat. He had a homer and a double the other day, uh, so he may actually win the backup catcher role. Just seeing Yankee Kyle pop in. Welcome. Stroman needs to prove himself. I think personally, I think that the Yankees are still trying to move Stroman, even with the injury he has. His performance the other day, he just didn't look like he was very happy to be on the mound pitching for the Yankees. And if that's the case, they should move him. Uh, one of the players that I am concerned with is Jason Dominguez. I watched an interview with Michael Kay, and he had talked about moving Dominguez back to center field. Well, some of the scouts that he reached out and contacted pretty much said that Dominguez is a bad center fielder. As so, what we're seeing in left field is no different than what you'll see in right field. Uh, and personally, with Bellinger and his speed, uh, playing him in center makes sense because he can cover the distance between the gaps. One of the problems that Dominguez has had out in the field is are his routes to balls that are not hit directly at him. So if the kid is going to get any better, you have to keep playing him. But his bat hasn't been very good either. Let's see, what has Jason done? In 20 at bats this spring training, he has 4 hits for 200 average, 1 home run, no triples, no doubles. He has 4 hits. He has struck out 6 times, which is midway for the Yankee strikeouts. The other concern that I have uh, is Anthony Volpe at shortstop. It does not look that he is having a good spring training with regard to his defensive skills. I've seen a lot of balls that he's kicked off his glove, some bad throws, and his hitting. He's hitting, I think, 188 for the spring. He had 2 hits against the Phillies the other day, and he had his first hit 3 days ago a home run. His strikeout numbers are high. He's got 8 strikeouts and 16 at bats. Half of his bats have resulted in strikeouts. Uh, to answer, I'm going to bring up. Graham has a question: if we move Dominguez to center field, does that block Spencer Jones? And I don't think that it will, because Jones is a superior center fielder. Uh, the the thing that I think keeps Jones off the major league roster is his strikeout rate. Brad made a comment that I agree with. Uh, Jackson is swinging the bat like Higgy during spring training, and I think that is a very, very true statement. Uh, Several years ago, Higgy came out and was banging the ball. He hit 9 or 10 home runs in spring training. And then we went to the regular season, and he didn't hit his first home run of the season until July. So, quality of pitching, there are reasons for that. Jackson has been a low average hitter his entire career. And I don't think that that's going to truly change. I think Jackson's benefit is his defensive play. We've seen Ben Rice behind the plate, and he looks horrible. I can see why they tried to convert him to a first baseman, because he just does not look good behind the dish. His throws to second are all over the place. Uh, Not really a great pitch framer, and just looks generically uncomfortable behind the plate. Maybe it's because he had the season off. Maybe he just not that great a catcher. I think that Rice's appeal has always been his bat. All right. The I'm fumbling a little bit here today, so I apologize for that. Uh, the other the other catcher who looks very comfortable behind the dish, and I like, is Rafael Flores. Uh, has a good arm. We've seen him throw in a second. He has an average bat, good pitch framer, and he seems comfortable with the staff, the pitchers that he's come out and called with, and he's even called uh, some of the minor leaguers who he has looked very good with. The other player, I'm gonna screw his name up, that I like, is Ishmael Mungaya. He is an outfielder. Unfortunately, I think that's going to keep him off the roster because of Trent Grisham. But he's hitting 360. It seems like every time he comes up, uh, he is hitting the ball hard. He is driving in runs. He's doing everything that you'd want to see from a guy who uh, has a shot at making the roster, although he doesn't. Is he going to be kept on the Yankees as a depth piece in the minor leagues? Probably. Uh, I would not be surprised if they tried to package him up in a trade. Uh, my uh, biggest area of concern for the Yankees is actually our bench depth. Uh, we have a lot of players that uh, are good defensive players, but we have no one who you would look at and say, "Well, I want to bring this player in a key situation where we need a hit." Uh, could Andrew Velasquez fill that spot? Possibly, but then you have Velasquez. If Peraza doesn't make the roster, then uh, he would be our primary utility player, and he is definitely a contact hitter with speed. So, backup catcher. I just keep seeing comments about backup catchers. Oh, you're talking, Sean, about James McCann, former Oriole backup catcher. He's out there, and he was one of the people that I thought the Yankees should bring into camp. Low cost contract, not a long obligation. I think he's looking for between $1 and $1.5 million. Great mentor for Rutschman last year. Could be a great mentor for Wells this year. Speaking of Wells, as most of you know, I have not been a big fan of Austin Wells. I am here to say that I might actually be wrong. Wells' bat has been impressive. Uh, he looks like he's on point behind the plate. My biggest complaint about Wells has been his ability to make the throw to second. Uh, I was making fun of him last year about airmailing way too many balls to Judge out in center, but it seems the few throws that he's had to make here in spring training, he's more on point. So that's a good thing, especially if the Yankees are expecting him to be behind the dish 5 games a week, and we have teams uh, that are gearing themselves towards a speed game. Red Sox being the first and foremost. They are a team that has a lot of punch and Judy hitters. They get on base, they take the extra base, and they steal. And you are going to need a catcher that can deal with that running game. Last year, when we had Trevino behind the dish, his arm is very weak. His pop time was slow, and the Red Sox ran all over him. As a matter of fact, that became the blueprint for every team that that when Trevino was on the behind the dish, they were running. It was like a racetrack. Uh, so hence, that's why I'm thinking that Alex Jackson could be uh, could be the backup catcher just because of his defensive prowess. Uh, Ascara, I think he's more noted as a bat than an actual defensive catcher. As I said, Rice, not very good. What do you guys think? Oh, yes, we've got my buddy Brad talking about my favorite catcher. He's gained a spot in my heart. Like I said that I was wrong about Wells, and he may be the actual everyday catcher. somebody that the Yankees are going to lean on in the future. Yeah, and that was definitely the case. Eric and I fighting about Wells. Okay, so Erica was right. I was wrong. I can admit it. What do we expect to see out of Garrett Cole today, starting against the Twins? All right, I will start. I think that we're going to see between 50 and 60 pitches in his outing. I think that we're going to get possibly four, maybe 5 innings out of Garrett today. And I see that we have Stephen B in the background, so I'm going to bring him up. Stephen, welcome.
Hey, Ken.
How you doing?
Just finished writing paperwork. Just going to do some paperwork. I figured I'd hop on while talking.
All right. Welcome. This is your first time on The Ugly Truth, and I appreciate your doing a little bit of fumbling here today, bouncing from topic to topic, pretty much talking about heroes of spring training, things that I've liked, that I've seen, things that I don't like. Right now, we're working on the prediction for Cole's outing today. You got any thoughts?
Probably 3 innings, maybe 4 or 5 Ks, maybe 1 run, no walks, maybe a couple hits here and there.
Okay. I'm thinking that he's throwing 50 to 60 pitches, possibly getting 5 innings out of him, possibly four to 5 strikeouts, maybe giving up a run. Hey, Marshall, welcome to the stream. Let's see. Brad predicts that Cole is going to go 4 to 5 innings, 5 strikeouts, 2 runs. Not bad for another spring training outing. So, come on, guys, throw your thoughts out there.
And I got on when you were talking about Wells.
Yep, I was talking about Wells and me possibly being wrong about him being the future catcher.
Well, I was. Me and CT had a joke between us for texting. We almost got your shirt that says Wells is our boy for Ken.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
we never.
It was like I avidly hated him. Well, I didn't avidly hate him. I just thought that he threw from behind the dish like crap. And every time he would airmail a ball to Judge in center field, I would just shake my head.
You have to have adjustment period too. I mean, if you watched his minor league games, some of them they were all on the point down there. But when you come to the major league, you have all that crowd, dude. All that adrenaline goes, so you have to slow it down. And I noticed during the year, it got better and better as the season went on. And his calling then the postseason was really great for us, even though that series did not go as we expected.
Well, I think for a young player like Wells, the latter part of the season when he started slumping, it was mainly due to fatigue. He hadn't played that many professional games in a season, and towards the latter half of the year, he was pretty much the only catcher we had. We had JC or
we had Trevino,
Narvaez who would catch once in 14 days. Well, that's going to take its toll on the body. and it certainly showed in his performance at the plate. And
He was
by the
really.
time we got to the postseason, I think he was exhausted.
I think so. I was gonna say I think so too. When his bat was so hard, it was like hard to not take him out of the lineup when we really needed him at that point too. And then you got Trevino coming back, got injured, came back, and then people would just run on us, and they didn't want that happening too. So it was like a good storm. But I think this backup catcher, whoever it is, will have a good arm, and we won't have to worry about what we dealt with last year with like stealing on bases.
All right, we have a Cole prediction from Yankee Kyle. He thinks that Garrett is going to go 5 innings with 10 strikeouts and no runs. Well, that would be a fantastic performance. However, in his second game of spring training, I'm not thinking that they're going to stress him that much. But
as long as our pitching stays relatively healthy, I mean, besides a few injuries, we should be really, really good shape. Just get through spring healthy.
Well, what do you think the rotation is going to look like walking away from spring?
I would say it's going to be Cole number 1, Free number 2. I'm going to say Rodon number 3. I'm going to guess Schmidt should be 4, and it's going to be either Stroman or Warren. I mean, it depends if Stroman gets traded or not. If it's not, he's going to be the number 5. And I know I've been very impressed with Warren this year in the spring. He looks like he's ready. He's making the leap as the season spring training's going further. It looks like he's taking that leap that he got thrown in the wolves and wasn't ready at the time, and now it seems like he's ready to go there.
Well, like I mentioned earlier in the stream, last year Warren's starts, it seemed that he was informed at the last minute, so he didn't really have the proper prep time. And sometimes he looked great, others he didn't look so good. I think with him in the mindset of knowing he's going to the bump as a starter, he's got the preparation time for actually getting in the mindset to start his games, and his control has looked very good. His velocity is ramping up. He's given up 1 run in 3 spring training starts, roughly 2, 5, 8 innings of pitching. So not bad.
No, he kind of looks
Me
like
personally,
Michael King.
I think that the Yankees are going to break spring training with Cola in the rotation, Rodon, Fried, Warren, and I think Carrasco is actually going to be the 5th starter. Stroman's performance the other day was horrible. He doesn't look like he's interested in playing for New York, and I think they're going to move him no matter what.
I'm just hoping we have a taker, because it seems like no one wants that contract, even though it is a team-friendly one, but not to everyone else. And I think we're going to eat a lot of
money to move him.
Yeah, and the other thing I'm looking to see is third base, because I really like Peraza. I mean, he looks like he's playing his heart out, and it's showing. And I mean, normally he doesn't have a good bat in the spring. Usually he heats up in the middle of the things on further, and he's getting singles, and it's showing that's live compared to like last year when he got hurt and he couldn't do anything. The year before that, he came into spring training injured. It seems like he's starting to take the next step too. Hopefully, maybe the Yankees will actually let him play third base. I like to see that.
Yeah, the problem that we're going to run into with Peraza is, for some unapparent reason, I don't know why, the Yankees don't have faith in the kid as a whole. Personally, he is the best defensive glove that we have at any level in the Yankee organization. And if we're gearing our team towards towards a model that we want to shut down runs, Peraza is the perfect player for that. But reports have it that we're looking for another bat.
I was actually
Peraza this year, he is hitting 267 and has only 3 strikeouts and 15 at bats. Couple of doubles, scored a couple of runs. I mean, he's doing what I think he needs to do to show that he can stick at the major league level. What do you think about Everson Pereira?
Pereira. He's from coming off the injury last year and missing a good
Yep.
amount of time. He's actually doing really well. I'm surprised the bat's there. It's just going to take a while for defense. And before he got injured, he was actually doing really well in the minors. I think he might be a trade piece, but I also think he could be a good fourth outfielder, and we could possibly transition to him when we switch Stanton in a couple of years. They move Judge to DH. We could have him as a fourth outfielder go back being the regular starter. He's a solid player, and he's affordable and cheap.
If I don't know what the deal is with the Yankees, but it seems like every outfielder that they have that they bring up is a damn center fielder, and Pereira is another center fielder. Although I think he's more versatile. I think he could actually play left.
I think the reason they like having a lot of center fielders because center fielder is one of the most athletic positions to be able to transition from like left or right from center is not as big of a jump. So if you could play center, theoretically, you can play left or right. I'm not so sure about Dominguez yet, but might just need some growing pains for him, though.
And Graham brings up a point that I am constantly on. Fans have a bad habit of being hard on rookies. Expectations are very high, also, and when they don't perform, the fans turn on them, and it's not good for young players. They're learning at the major league level.
It's not like when it was in the '90s when the core four, I like to say the core five came up, where we're losing and we're rebuilding at the same time, and they brought all these guys up rookies, and it just morphed into being a good blend of this, of young and good veterans. And to me, this team seems like we have the young guys coming up. We have some old veterans that are key spots that we really do need, and I think we have a nice blend of the team. And it's starting in even though it's a small sample, those minor league guys that are Lombard Jr., the Joneses that we've been seeing, all these young guys they're hitting against a Phillies team that's last game. It's kind of good to see good promise that some of these guys might actually pan out and give us a good help.
So who do you think the new core is?
I don't want to put any pressure on them, but I think it's going to be Lombard Jr. is going to be with it. I think Wells. I think Dominguez. I think Jones will if he doesn't get moved. And I think we will see it with Gill if he stays healthy. I think another one we're going to watch out for some of those minor league pitchers. I think Warren could be a good one. It's a really good It's going to be interesting because there's a lot of other guys, and we got areas that could possibly be a trade bait, but you can also be really good players. They're going to all come up at the right time. It's just going to be, do we have enough positions? Are we going to let key veterans to try new rookies? It's going to be interesting.
I think this spring, the Yankees have been very, very oriented towards hitting the long ball. I think that's part of the part of the roster construction is why we haven't gone deep into playoffs, is because eventually you face those uh, hedgehog pitchers and they're not giving up the long ball, and our ability to score runs is very limited. This year's team, we are definitely using speed. I am 1,000% ecstatic about the way our situational hitting has gone. We have scored a lot of runs with runners in scoring position and less than 2 outs, and I think that that is going to serve us very well during the spring or during the season. And Graham, you're right. We are old, so we have a lot of rookies that we can look back to, including Jeter. All right, fellas, we are right at an hour, so I'm going to cut the stream here in a couple of minutes. I want to thank everyone that supported the channel today. Uh, I know that everyone here is subscribed, but share the channel out with others. May garner interest and increase our community size. I like talking Yankee baseball, but I'm not exclusive. I will talk any team baseball. Uh, if you have any comments post game, Pete, please feel free to drop them. I will do my best to answer anything that is asked. And like I said, I want to thank everyone for their support. Last thing I have is we have the Yankees today at 105. It's actually being shown on MLB TV. We have Cole versus Ryan, and I don't have the lineup yet, but I know that it's out. Let's go Yankees. Have a good day.